grip, no grip. I don't know if you can hear or not, but these are no longer the Borla S types that I had in this car. These are now Mack flow paths. Much deeper sounding, much deeper sounding. The reason I went with the Mack flow paths and took the Borlas off is because in the next couple weeks should have long tube headers, Offroad X pipe. They're actually the same long tube headers and same Offroad X pipe that came off of my last 3.7. I took them off and I sold them when I sold the car. I sold them to Rich. Rich is in the Cyclone Mustang groups, if you guys know Rich. Cool guy. And talking to him, he's going turbo, so he's taking the headers. I sold them off, and he's selling them back to me. So the same parts I had on my first car, which is crazy because this one even looks like my first car does. It's becoming its like second twin here almost or something. But these motherfuckers they're not as loud as the Borlas, but they're definitely not as loud. They're much deeper sounding. They're a lot tamer. They still pop a little bit, but overall just a lot quieter. They drone a lot more, if you can tell or not, but it's a lot louder inside the cabin, even at cruising speeds. But they're much deeper, much more rumbly sounding, not as exotic or like touring-ish type sounding with the, I guess the best way to describe it with the Borlas. So I'm excited to hear how it's going to sound. If you guys don't, I kind of know what it's going to sound like. If you don't know, I'm going to show you a clip of what this car is going to sound mostly like. This car only has resonators, GT resonators on top of the setup. Mine will not. Just be straight long tubes, Offroad X pipe, and Mack flow paths. So it'll sound very similar to this. Now, Offroad X pipe, if you guys know what off-road means, off-road is for off-road use. In other words, non-emissions legal. So technically, you know, if you have places where you have to do emissions inspections and pass emissions and they check your car and stuff, then you will not pass with an Offroad X pipe. If they don't do a visual inspection, there's ways that you can pass by getting non-followers and stuff like that for the O2 sensors. Overall, there's a couple choices when you have mid pipes. You know, if you're going long tube headers, you're gonna have to get a shorty mid pipe. So it's gonna match up because the collector, where everything comes back and connects to your mid pipe, is gonna be a lot farther back. So a regular Offroad X pipe will not work with long tube headers. So if you're getting shorties, so you don't want to deal with long tubes, right? But you want Offroad X, and then you're gonna get an Offroad X pipe. That's what it is. It's Lethal Performance makes one, which is the ones I always go with on my cars. BBK makes one also. You'll get very similar power gains to long tube headers and Offroad X with shorties in Offroad X or H, but it won't be as much. You'll just have a little more torque in the bottom end. You can also go for high flow cats, which are high flow catted X pipe or high flow catted H pipe. I don't recommend those because most of the people I see that buy them end up dealing with, you know, check engine light problems anyways, because the caliper converters just do not filter out what the O2 sensors are looking for. A lot of times those cats also burn up very fast as well. Oh fuck, this Mexican restaurant here. Trying to get some Mexican food and I can't pull in their parking lot because I'll get stuck. Yeah, I really don't recommend a catted mid pipe at all. Just not a good idea, because it's a lot of money for one, and you're not going to get that much performance gains out of it. Not much at all. It's just not going to work out very good. And you know, like I said, temporary maybe, but you're going to have problems with it. So if you really want, either just keep your stock mid pipe, in my opinion, or if you can do it, go for the off-road setup, because you're going to get more gains in an off-road setup. Some of the downsides to going with an off-road mid pipe, the fumes are pretty bad. You're going to smell a lot of gas in the car, a lot raw fuel type of smell, you know. But you are going to gain, according to Lethal Performance, they did a dyno on one of their cars, and they gained, I believe, about 14 or so. They gained about 14 wheel horsepower. Fuck, can I come in from the other way? There's no way I'm going to make it through that. Okay, well, yes, you could drive a Mustang in winter, but you have to know where you have to drive it. Oh boy. Should you opt for a off-road mid-pipe? Definitely. Definitely think you should. If, of course, you can deal with, you know, if you can deal with the smell of it, because it's like I said, it's very strong inside the car. Even outside the car. It's even worse if you have ghost cam on that. Way worse. Like I said, Off-Road X pipes pick up, or Off-Road X and H pick up about 14 rear wheel horsepower on the 3.7 just by themselves. And they're very, very loud. They make a huge, huge difference. It is a very cheap way to make power. Very cheap way to make power in a 3.7. Your dollar per horsepower number is way up because the Lethal Off-Road X pipe only goes for about $229, I think, somewhere around there, for 14 rear wheel horsepower. So that's probably the best horsepower per dollar mod you can get in a 3.7 liter. Again, you know, high flow catted mid pipes, maybe you'll get 5 to 10, maybe somewhere around there. But again, you're still going to eventually have a check engine light because those cats are not going to last long, and your O2 sensors most times aren't going to really like the readings you're going to get with those on your car. So you're really just inviting more problems in the car, not gaining that much horsepower, spending a lot of money, and sounding very similar to stock. So it's just like, I don't know, you know, some people like the catted mid pipes, high flow catted mid pipes. I don't. Just never was a fan, you know. Just never was a fan. Should you go Off-Road X or Off-Road H? Well, that's another good question. Off-Road X pipe is going to get you a little bit more horsepower, most likely, usually on the top end. More likely on the top end. H might give you a little more torque and a little bit, you know, down low. But overall, X pipe is going to make a little bit more horsepower than an H pipe. The H pipe is going to have a little bit more deeper, flatter tone to it. They're both going to be raspy. When it says, oh, if we don't want rasp, go with the H pipe, they're both going to be like almost equally raspy. The X pipe being a little bit more raspy, but I've heard some H pipe setups that were pretty fucking raspy. But out of all the exhaust steps I've heard, I've always liked the way the X pipe, Off-Road X pipe sounds on the 3.7 more than the H pipe. Really, you can't go wrong with getting an Off-Road X pipe. But here's the thing: if you do plan on going long tubes, don't get just a regular Off-Road X pipe then, because you're going to have to get rid of that and get a shorty mid pipe anyway. So that just absolutely makes no sense. But if you guys are looking for somewhere to get decently cheap parts from, Cyclone Parts Exchange. The first 3.7 I had, I did buy quite a few used parts for it. The drive shaft I bought was used, the throttle body was used. I think that was really it. But yeah, the drive shaft and throttle body, those two, I mean, between those two things, brand new, I mean, that's almost like, it's over $1,000 for both of those brand new together. So I think I ended up spending about, let's see, the drive shaft used was $500, the throttle body was $250, so about $750. I would say about $300 or $400 buying used just on that alone. With these Mac flows are $400, $450 brand new, I think. And long tube headers are about $450, and I'm sure mid pipe is about $150, so it's like $700, and it's $800, $900. It's a lot of money saved, you know, by buying that shit. Again, I think it's about over $1,000, and I got it for $400. There's nothing wrong with going used if the parts are still in good condition, because I mean, most of us are gonna beat up our cars anyways, so it doesn't really matter, you know. But yeah, this is what the car sounds like now with the Max on it. It's so deep. It's so deep sounding. I'm still not even used to it. It's got that pop, but the pops are very deep. Oh, I love that. I love the way that sounds. when this thing is full exhaust, off-road mid-pipes, it's gonna sound so badass. You'll see. This thing's gonna sound so fucking amazing. So if you guys have any other questions about off-road mid-pipes, just leave a comment below, let me know. I wasn't too much to cover on this because we already covered a lot of exhaust stuff in videos before. Like the BBK long tube header video, I'll leave that in the link below. If you guys are curious about more information on long tube headers, click on that. And I'm gonna keep enjoying these mufflers for right now, and then I cannot wait to get a full exhaust video up and see what this thing finally sounds like. So it's our first mods. They're gonna be, all right, well, we got our MPT tune, we got our seated cold air intake, and so we're gonna have BBK long tube headers, off-road mid-pipe, and Mac flow pass. So we got our exhaust covered. Next thing after that is gonna be imported intakes. I do have drag wheels for this already, skinnies in the front, radials in the back, but I'm gonna switch those out and get a set of slicks on there. And we're probably gonna throw a two-step on before we go to the track in spring. So hoping by then we should be very close to getting in the 12s with just those mods. And this car is gonna be stripped down pretty well. So it's gonna be very light. I'm gonna get this thing as light as I can get it before we go to the track. So this should make for some good content, some good videos coming up soon. You guys have a good time here. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, all right? I'm gonna go eat my Mexican food.